Jean Anderson, who lives here, is going next door to stay with the two Bishop children. Mr. and Mrs. Bishop think Jean is one of the best persons that could stay with Susan and Mitchie. You'll think so, too, after you see how wisely she acted when something went wrong one afternoon. Mrs. Bishop tells Jean to call her at the Ridgeways if she needs her. Jean says she'll take good care of Mitchie, who is resting upstairs, and of Susan, who comes out to say goodbye to her mother. The Bishops are soon to be grateful that Tony, who lives nearby, is skating in front of their house this afternoon.
But Pokey was not a bad kitten, really, although he did keep his mother worried about all the trouble he was getting into. Almost every minute, Pokey found something new and strange that he wanted to learn more about. One day, while Pokey's mother had gone next door,
Susan has a kitten of her own that is very much like Pokey. See what goes on upstairs while Jean reads to Susan? Meanwhile, in the next room, Mitchie tries some new tricks. But now let's get back to Susan and Jean. Susan thinks she smells smoke. Jean thinks she does too. It seems to be coming from upstairs. Jean knows she has to save Mitchie first. She knows she can confine the fire for a little while by closing the door. This keeps the hallway clear of smoke and gives her time to get Mitchie out. Jean has sent Susan next door to get Mrs. Anderson to call the fire department.
What's the matter? Our house is on fire. The Bishop house is on fire!
Operator, give me the fire department. I want to report a fire at 199 Woodrow Drive.
Is everybody out?
yes, they are.
Look, my key's up there. He's in the window.
Meanwhile, other firemen have been busy putting out the fire. Soon the fire chief can report that the flames are out and that only one room is damaged. The chief shows Mrs. Bishop and a neighbor what caused the fire. That same damaged electric cord that Susan's kitten was playing with. That and an oversized fuse in the fuse box. Tony heard what the chief had to say about this fire and how the fire could have cost the lives of his friends. The chief says that he could probably find the same kind of cords and the same dangerous fuses in many other houses in the neighborhood. Tony says he wants everybody to know what happened at the Bishop's, and he asks the chief if he can take the damaged cord to school with him to show his classmates. The chief gives his permission, and Tony says he will see that the school learns the lesson of this fire. At school next day, Tony showed the student council the damaged cord that had set the curtains of fire at the bishop's house. Some council members said that if such a little thing could start a fire, there might be other things in their homes that were dangerous. One girl said everyone in school should study more about fire safety. The council agreed to ask every class to start a fire safety project. Because of his interest, Tony was appointed a fire marshal. Sometime later, Tony visited all the classes to get material for a report. In the first grade, he found Susan telling how fast the fire trucks had come to her house and how the firemen rescued her kitten. Then he saw the models of firefighting equipment that these boys and girls had learned to make. Fire trucks made out of blocks. Even one made from pasteboard boxes and a few cans. They all wanted to play firemen. And when they did, they liked to dress like firemen. This is what Tony saw when he visited a 7th grade room.
I am ignorance, a gremlin of fire. These are my playmates, whose deeds are dire.
I am a firebug, and my best friend is a match. I run from watchdogs because I'd make a good catch.
I am an oily rag. In vain the gremlins yearn for me to go out to play. But I'm mad, so everything that will burn had better stay out of my way.
Back in his own 6th grade, Tony found Jean helping a group to plan for practice in exit drills. Tony prepared a blocked exit for one of these drills. In the meantime, Jean's classmates had chosen her to be one of the fire inspectors for their room. Boys and girls in this room found many other interesting things to do in order to learn about fire safety. The booklets they read and the films they saw helped them gain information that they shared with others when they made charts and posters. When they painted this mural, each child in the room did a separate part that grew out of his own ideas. As a science experiment, Mrs. Johnson, their teacher, showed them the 3 ways of putting out fires. First, she lit some scraps of paper in a dish. When the fire got going, she placed a piece of glass over the dish. This cut off the air from the fire. Without air, this fire goes out. In a second experiment, she showed them the best method of putting out fires in paper, cloth, or wood. This time, she poured water on the burning paper. Water cools the burning materials so they no longer give off vapors that will burn. Mrs. Johnson told them that still another way to put out fires is to remove unburned materials from the fire. When she rakes the paper from the fire, the flames will go out. Without fuel, fire cannot burn. When it was the 6th grade's turn to visit the fire station, they had lots of fun. The The boys and girls were glad to have a chance to get their hands on a fire truck and to see how its many gadgets worked. The things they couldn't figure out for themselves, the firemen were very nice about explaining. The firemen took the class all over the station. The girls noticed particularly how neat and clean the sleeping quarters were. While they were there, the class had a chance to see what really happens when somebody turns in an alarm. One day, Chief Gaines, the assistant fire marshal, visited the school. Tony took him through the spotless kitchen and lunchroom. Mrs. Joyner, the principal, was proud of the way the lunchroom was kept because it showed that the whole school, not only the students in their classrooms, was interested in fire safety. When Tony completed his monthly report, Mrs. Joyner and Mr. Gaines told him that he had done an excellent job. As they were entering the room where a special meeting on fire safety was about to be held, Chief Gaines stopped to look at one of the posters on display that showed a house with neat living quarters, but the basement was disorderly and the attic was filled with junk. This meeting of parents, teachers, and students had been called by the PTA to plan some things they could do about fire safety in their homes.
When I saw the poster of that house over there, I couldn't help thinking about the time when during one of our inspections, a woman, I'll call her Mrs. Winters, asked me to inspect her house. I never saw so much junk. This woman had never thrown away a thing. She wouldn't throw away anything I suggested either. It's people like Mrs. Winters who hide some of our worst fire hazards. We can start with ourselves in our own homes by checking up. If you wish, we can give each child in the school a checklist to take home so that children and parents may use it together in inspecting for fire hazards.
The school and PTA started a home cleanup and inspection campaign using the forms Chief Gaines had given them. Tony helped his father with the inspection of their own home. Before long, the entire community was thinking and doing more about fire safety. Both students and parents began to take more precautions at home. Electric cords were inspected and damaged ones were replaced. "15-ampere fuses were installed in fuse boxes. Grown-ups stopped smoking in bed. You can bet your life the bishops had not forgotten about the dangers of fire. They had not forgotten Jean and Tony either, because they gave a picnic for them and their families. We know that these boys and girls have learned the meaning of fire safety because they do the things that will prevent fires. A fire just doesn't have a chance with Tony and Susan and Jean around. Look out, not so high next time, Mitchie. Yes, even Mitchie is learning about fire.